the way that you do that is you realize that in life, not every day, but a lot of times, you get these inflection points. You get these decision points where you get to decide, am I going to step it up? Am I going to take that path of growth? Or am I going to stay in my comfort zone and take the path of comfort? And Abraham Maslow talks about this, and this is one of the ways to really develop and become self-actualized and to work on your self-actualization is to learn to spot these inflection points. And you can have, they can be little, they can be small, or they can be big. The ones that I talked about here for me personally were big, right? These, like for example, starting my own business, that was a very critical inflection point in my life. And I remember, just like it was yesterday, I remember standing there in my apartment in Boston and thinking about whether I should quit my job, because I had a good job, whether I should quit that, and I had a lot of promise there, and cut that path off, or whether I should go and start my own business, which I didn't know whether it was going to be successful. I knew I had to work really hard at it, and I also knew that if I was leaving this job, then I would never be coming back to the game development industry, because I already had the best job that I could have there. What more could I ask for? If I didn't find that satisfying, there's no other job in this industry would have worked for me. So for me, that was a really tough choice. But ultimately, I decided that the path of most growth for me would be to do the business, because that was something new, that was something scary, that was something unknown, and so I went off and I did that, and I'm really proud for having done that today. Got a lot of benefit from it, from my financial independence now, but also from all the business experience that I've gotten, and now the fact that I have the freedom, the free time, and also the money to start my new business, which is shooting these videos and doing personal development, research, and doing coaching. So that was huge, huge, huge for me. And the same goes for really all the other 4 points that I mentioned. My point here being is that sometimes you get those big inflection points, sometimes you get little ones. Every day you have an opportunity to look at your life and see, okay, here I could have pushed myself a little bit more. I could have chosen that growth path a little bit more. And instead, maybe you can see that you're choosing the comfortable path all the time. And if you are doing that, then I encourage you to challenge yourself. Start challenging yourself more. You can't always be perfect at challenging yourself. Sometimes you're going to be tired, sometimes you're going to feel weak, and you're just going to give in to that temptation to veg out. But in general, by doing this exercise, I hope you can see that those moments where you did challenge yourself, those were big. And that's how you create a really powerful, amazing life. And the people that have those kinds of lives, they didn't get them by sitting on the couch. They didn't get them by just listening to a video or reading a book. They got them by going out there and actually living life, challenging themselves, doing adventurous things, doing things that are outside their comfort zone, doing things that are not in their personality stereotype. So really pushing themselves, right? And I think that's what we admire about people like that, is when we see people out there killing it, when we see people out there doing crazy stuff that is out of character for them, on some level we're rooting for them, because we know that that's the kind of life that we want to live. And there's a tendency to want to live your life vicariously through them, but that's a problem, right? That's really what TV is kind of like, is that you watch TV and you might watch a show about somebody doing something cool on TV and you kind of resonate with that. But then what are you actually doing? You're sitting at home eating popcorn watching that show, when instead you should be out there doing that kind of stuff in real life. You should be engaged. When you're engaged, that's how you create excitement, that's how you create motivation. So if you're not motivated, if you're not feeling like your life has a lot of meaning, if you're not feeling like your life is as fulfilling as it could be, if you feel like you're in a dead-end job, if you're in a dead-end relationship, if stuff is just boring for you, and you're not getting the sense of thrill that you see other people getting and you're wondering why, this is it. You're not challenging yourself enough. And the first challenge that I'm going to put up for you is do this exercise. Really think about it. Think about points in your life where you chose to go the growth route versus the comfortable route, and see what kind of difference your life would have, what kind of difference in your life there would be if all those growth choices that you chose, if they were all comfort choices. So what if your life was all comfort? Really think about that. How great would your life be? I'm willing to bet that your life would be pretty horrible right now. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't make that trade-off. Because even though those challenging times were really challenging, you had to work your ass off for them. And sometimes you had real moments of anguish and self-doubt and frustration. In the end, whether you made it through or maybe you didn't even make it through, maybe you just quit, whatever, you still got something out of that. You pushed yourself, right? You were on your edge. You learned something about yourself, and that grew you. For me, there was no way that I would go back and make some of these changes. Back in high school and college, I chose to really step it up with my education and to really work hard and study. For me, that was huge because that built and cultivated a love of learning for me that I still have right now. And in fact, that's why I'm doing personal development research. And I'm shooting these videos is because I love to learn, I love to analyze, I love to see what kind of things I can understand about the world and then how those can be used to make a better life for myself. So for me, that really started back in high school and in college by challenging myself to really step it up and become a really good student. And then, of course, other things that I got involved in, these other points that I'm proud of, from the game project that I worked on after college, which allowed me to create my first real successful game, put it out there, see the sense of contribution that I got from it, put a lot of smiles on people's faces, get over 100,000 downloads of that game, and ultimately got my dream job from that. That was huge for me. I would not trade that for anything. And then getting involved with Pickup was also huge for me, led to my better understanding of women, got me more self-confidence, got me even further involved with personal development, because a lot of the people that I met in the community were self-development junkies, so that got me involved with that. Just very, very rewarding rewards that I'm still seeing to this day from all that. And then, of course, my health, losing 65 pounds in 5 months. For me, at the point when I decided to do that, I had been overweight my whole life, very overweight, and it was a big question as to whether I was going to succeed. I tried dieting in the past, and it hasn't worked for me. And then at that point, I just decided to commit and to really be disciplined about it. And I ended up going to the gym, improving my diet, and losing 65 pounds in 5 months. Pretty good result, I would say. And I was able to keep that off up to this day. Haven't really fluctuated much in my weight since. That was 8 years ago now. And the health benefits that I got, the energy benefits that I've got, have been huge. The confidence, the boost that I got from being more comfortable with how I look, liking myself more, those things were all huge, and I would not trade those for anything in the world. So I'm really happy with that decision. And then, of course, starting my own business, I already talked about how huge that was for me, because that allows me to be doing what I really love to do right now. And I'm so grateful that I made that decision and went through the pains of starting my own business and learning how the business world works. So those are my personal proudest moments. I'm curious to hear what yours are, and I want you to sit there and recollect and think a little bit and wax nostalgic about what you're most proud of. Because I think you'll find that when you get a visceral sense for the importance of pushing yourself and doing those challenging things, then when you're faced with those choices, the comfort versus the challenging versus the comfort choice, when you're faced with those in the future, you're going to lean more towards the challenge. And that's going to lead to the kind of exciting life that you want to be living. All right, so I'm going to sign off here. I encourage you to do this exercise. If you haven't done it by now, pause right now, still not too late. Go ahead and do it. Really, really important that you do the exercises. And then I want to hear from you. I want your comments. Tell me what are your 5 proudest moments. Tell me how challenging those were for you. Were they really challenging? Were they kind of average, or were they really easy? Maybe they were easy. I want to hear about those if you've got them. So go ahead and leave some comments. And also, of course, as always, go to actualize.org.com for more videos, exclusive videos. Got a great newsletter that's totally free. More articles like this, and then of course for every video that I'm shooting, whether you find this on YouTube or Vimeo or other places, you can get the full text article and exercise files and things like that, cool downloads on actualize.org. Just go ahead and run a search for it, and you'll find the exact article page. All right, this is Leo signing off.